this is Chaya, and I welcome you once again to today's program. Today we will be looking into comparing poems. We will therefore look into comparing two poems from your textbook. The first one is found on page 200 on finding a small fly crushed in a book, and the second one is found on page 202, which is Away Melancholy. Today, what we are going to do is that we will start by analysing the individual poem. Then we will look at the themes in the poem, we will compare the expression of suffering, and we will also analyse the opening lines, analyse the title, and look into the mood and the atmosphere. Okay, let us start by reading On Finding a Small Fly Crushed in a Book, which is written by Charles Tennyson Turner. Some hand that never meant to do thee hurt has crushed thee here between these pages pent, but thou hast left thine own fair monument. Thy wings gleam out and tell me what thou wert. Oh, that the memories which survive us here were half as lovely as these wings of thine, pure relics of a blameless life that shine. Now thou art gone, our doom is ever near. The peril is beside us day by day. The book will close upon us, it may be. Just as we lift ourselves to soar away upon the summer airs, but unlike thee, the closing book may stop our vital breath, yet leave no lustre upon our page of death. This poem is a sonnet. Let us first look into what is a sonnet. We have two different types of sonnets. The first one is the Shakespearean sonnet or the English sonnet. A sonnet is composed of 14 lines, divided into 3 quatrains and a concluding couplet, with the following rhyme scheme: A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, and G, G. A quatrain is composed of 4 lines, while a couplet is made up of 2 lines. A Petrarchan sonnet, on the other hand, is also known as an Italian sonnet. It has 14 lines of iambic pentameter rhyming in octave, that is 8 lines, A, B, B, A, A, B, B, A. This is followed by a sestet, that is 6 lines, which rhyme in the following way: C, D, C, D, C, D, though there might be some variations of it. The octave generally contains the problem or the theme which the sonnet will develop. Sometimes an expression of indignation, desire, or doubt may occur in the opening lines, which then are resolved in the sestet. Let us turn towards our poem. Let us look into the meaning of the poem while analysing the poem as we go along. The first 2 lines of the poem tell us, some hand that never meant to do thee hurt has crushed thee here between these pages pent. Let us look at the very opening line of the poem. What does the line contain? What is the tone that is used by the poet? How does the poet convey his feelings, his emotions? I feel that the poem starts with a very remorseful tone, almost as if the poet feels sad that the fly has been found dead. Some hand that never meant do thee hurt. That is, it is something which is not intentional. Then he says, has crushed thee here between these pages pent. The second line continues the same mood that is introduced in the first line. That sadness, that remorse continues there. But as we go along, there is one word which we need to highlight, which is the word crushed. Crushed is not simply death. It's something that is more than killing. It's something like almost as if there is no life. It has been totally destroyed. Now has crushed thee here between these pages pent. Pent. What is the meaning of pent? Pent is the past tense of pen, which refers to the fact that the pages are now blank. There is nothing left now that the fly is dead, but instead it is filled with the history of that fly. But it can also stand for imprisoned. That is, the fly has been imprisoned by those blank pages contained within the book. Now, the opening of the poem is quite strong. It introduces the very theme of death. Firstly, there is the theme of suffering that is contained in the very first two lines, and automatically it engages the reader and it creates a certain suspense as we want to know more about what is happening. So let us look at the poem as it goes along. But thou hast left thy own fair monument. Thy wings gleam out and tell me what thou wert. Fair monument, what you wert. The third line of the poem tells us that the poet then discusses the fair monument. What is meant by monument? A monument is usually a building, isn't it? But then here a monument is nothing more than the body of that fly that has passed away. The fly is gone, but what is left is the corpse of that fly that becomes a monument. The line, thy wings gleam out and tell me what thou wert, shows us how the fly has left behind a message. Positive language is used here, such as fair and gleam, to show that the poet feels remorse, but there is a lot of respect for the fly, and that respect is reflected in the language, fair and gleam. Oh, that the memories which survive us here were half as lovely as these wings of thine. The fifth line starts with an interjection, oh. Then the poet talks about memories. What are memories? Memories are things that belong to the past, but memories carry on into the present and might lead us to the future. Oh, that the memories which survive us here were half as lovely. Here, the fifth line takes us from the concrete, that is the wings of the fly, to the abstract, which are memories. But the poet expresses how it is a shame that the memory of the fly have been lost. All that remains is half as lovely, conveying to us that the remaining memories are only a tiny reminder of the fly's life. We have something different which we are going to discover at this point, which is a simile. What is a simile? The line were half as lovely as is a simile. A simile is a comparison. It usually takes us something like as fast as lightning. As fast as lightning is a simile. It is a comparison that is being made here. But here, why does the poet use the simile? The simile tells us that things are not as they were. What the fly has left is only but a very feeble, weak remainder of what it used to be. We also note the use of exclamation marks, which marks a change in tone, and denotes the movement from the concrete to the abstract. The praise for the fly is continued with the line, pure relics of blameless life, that suggests that it is almost an angel. This is reinforced by the use of the word shine, which conveys purity. We have at this point a very graphic description of the fly. What is meant by graphic description? Graphic description tells us that the fly is described into a lot of details, almost as if we can see the fly as it is. But we also note that the poet uses a lot of light in his description of the fly to convey to the fly this impression of being even better than life. The next lines run like this: pure relics of a blameless life, that shrine now thou art gone, our doom is ever near. Line 8 contains the idea of change that is taken up in many sonnets. Here the poet changes his mood, he changes his tone, he shifts towards something different. In this case, it is a shift to a more morose and pessimistic tone, shown by the words such as doom and peril. Now thou art gone. There is a movement here to the use of the present tense. Thou art gone. That is, the fly is not here anymore. The fly is gone. And this reinforces, emphasizes the fact that the fly is not here anymore. Now, thou art gone suggests that the passing of the fly is something of an allegory about what fate and destiny is. This is highlighted by the caesura in the line. Let us refresh our memories about what a caesura is. A caesura is a break in a line in a poem. Usually, it is used to highlight, to emphasize two different things, as here happens: you are gone, our doom is ever near. The poet juxtaposes the fly to us, the common of mortals. That is, a comparison is being made here between what the fly is and what we are. There is practically no difference between the fly and us. The fly is dead, but our doom is also coming. It symbolizes that even we won't live much beyond the fly. The next lines are: the peril is beside us day by day. The book will close upon us, it may be. In line 10, the poet continues the comparison between humanity and the fly in starting to describe the circumstances of our doom. But there is a metaphor that is used by the poet: the book closing. Have you ever noticed that when we talk, we usually make reference to our life as a book, and that we close one chapter, we turn the page, and we shift to something different? Here, we might talk of the book as being the symbol of our life, and that book closing upon us will mean that our life is over. So we note something of a description of death, which is far from being morbid. The poet doesn't welcome death, but then he takes death as something to happen at any moment. Just like the fly is dead, we might die also. Just as we lift ourselves and soar away upon the summer airs, but unlike thee. From the fly, the poet has moved to us. We lift ourselves and soar away upon the summer airs. In those 2.5 lines, through the use of soar and summer airs, there is a positive feeling, something that we do not associate with death. But then we also note the use of S alliteration, the S dominance, which does contribute to this image of soaring, of going up. The closing book may stop our vital breath, yet leave no lustre on our page of death. The final couplet takes us to something which is different. When humanity meets its doom, we will leave no lustre, a reference back to the gleaming monument of the fly. The fly is presented constantly as being gleaming. It is something that always shines. It is a fly that is light, both physically, but also it is associated with light, the angel dimension. It shines even in death. But there is also in this instance a continued reference made to the book, with the closing book and our page of death, helping to further strengthen the link between the fly's fate and that of humanity.